Atlantic Television Network. This is Sports Extraordinary, and of course, it's that time of the day where we'll take you through all the happenings in sports. Ekpo Temple is my name, and I'm so glad to be here this evening to bring you all the electrifying stories in the world of sports in the last 12 hours. Fresh and refreshing, of course, we'll take you down to all the happenings in sports. I'm not going to do this alone. I have joining me here Emmanuel Michael. Emmanuel, good evening. On the sands of time of Napoli, scoring 26 goals last season. I also move away from that down to the English Premier League, where Jadon Sancho has been banished from using the first team facility by his coach, Eric Ten Hag. We'll try to look into all these and many more, not forgetting that the National Youth Games ongoing live at from Asaba, Delta State. We'll bring you all the tidbits from that side, the teams, standing tall in the medals table, and many more here. Don't also forget that we have news from the Nigeria Premier Football League. We are the league.
Went for goal. Goalkeeper missed it. Side him. He does a right hand and down goes Paul straight away. Oh, what a point to end it on. So now it's his winner at the best. And winner 12 years for this. So drink it in.
Welcome back. It's the Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network, and it's time to get started here. I will start from the local scene. We are the biggest sporting event here in Nigeria. It's ongoing, and guess what? It is the 7th edition of the National Youth Games going on there in Asaba, Delta State. We heard that Team Rivers failed to progress in the judo event yesterday. Just this afternoon, Team Rivers were participating in some of the athletics event, and same with that. We can still bring you more news from that side. What do you make of, a whole lot happening, the states participating in this one, and more to say?
Well, for me, I think it has been a very poor start. But for me, again, I think Rivers State were not, ready for this very one, because we had the kickoff, the opening ceremony started on Saturday, while Team Rivers contingent arrived on Monday. 2 days behind time. So for me, I think it looked as though they were not pretty ready for this very well. But nevertheless, as the competition progresses, we hope to see them, improve on the medal slot, because we have many talent cut across, different sectors in this state that can be able to go out there and be able to hold their own strong.
We heard that this afternoon that 2 River State athletes have qualified to the finals of the shooting event, and this seems to be a good one because when two athletes qualify to the finals, you are sure that we're going to have a medal in those particular ones.
Definitely, cheering news you may want to say, and I believe two of them qualifying for the next round. I think we'll be sure to get one or two, medals in this very. I think it's a lifting news out there.
Also, we hear that Team Rivers have also qualified to some of the athletics events, including that, this afternoon. And Team Rivers participating in 22 events, having 197 contingents, arrived barely 24 hours ago, doing great things. I think that it's more like with that 22 events, if we can grab medals in 18 events, that will be massive. But can we?
That is a question that remains to be answered. But I believe our athletes that went there, they have all it takes to be able to go out there and compete favorably well with the other of their peers out there. Competing in 22 out of 35 different events. I think that number is quite, handful because at least the number out there goes a whole long way to add more strength to, to what you are taking out there. So for me, I believe with what we have in our kit, I think Rivers is going to make a very strong statement. Though we've not seen that happening. We've seen teams like Delta, topping the medals chart, the medals log. Secondly, closely followed by Lagos State, Bayelsa State, even as some state that you wouldn't even want to expect them to be in the medals log, such as Ebonyi State and the FCT. They have also made their mark in the medals log. But if teams like Bayelsa and Delta, which is our closest neighbor out here, is making themselves proud, at least the onus now lies on Team River.
Delta State, and of course they gave us some hint. If you take a look, or you've heard about the planning, the general organization of this competition, will you think that Delta State have improved on what we saw from Kwara State 3 years ago?
Definitely, I want to say there's a massive improvement from what we saw in the previous years. Don't forget, this though we had pocket challenges, there are some reports out there that the host to which some of these athletes and their contingent, or some state and their contingent, is situated or residing and not in a perfect condition. But for me, I think in every organization or in every big tournament such as this, you don't expect 110% or 100% organizational structure. But for me, I think to a large extent, I want to give kudos to Delta State so far for what they have done, being able to contain this massive crowd that is trooping down to Delta State, courtesy of this national youth game. I think they've done fairly well for me. I think I want to cut them some slack. Again, some states were given some specific amount of, a number of athletes to take part. Some states, they said, come with 1,500 athletes. But some states went there with 1,800 athletes. So there is need for exigency provision for those extra athletes that went out there. And cost of the benevolent of the River State, Delta State government, they deem it necessary to allow those athletes to stay in the spirit of fairness, in the spirit of brotherliness, in the spirit of peace. So for me, I think generally they've done fairly well so far.
Of course, we're bringing you details and, of course, reports of live happening at the 7th edition of the National Youth Games. And like a lot of person will say, argue, you can go ahead to argue and argue, but the end product of this is talent discovery, talent hunting, and then after hunting this talent, the next thing should be about nurturing this talent and then ensuring that these talents are well prepared, developed to represent Nigeria at the elitist level or at the global stage. From what we have seen so far, different states, chunk of medals from here, there, and all that, do you think that at the end of the day, this sole motive for organizing these games will be achieved?
I strongly believe that the sole motive of unearthing talent and polishing them,
over the years we have been unearthing talent, and that's my thinking, it goes beyond unearthing talent.
Sure.
When we unearth these talents, like those from Kwara State, can we look back and say they have truly represented us at this level? Can we say, okay, these are the ones from Kwara State? From now they are no longer genius. They are now representing Nigeria.